Okay, what I want to know is if they teach Mickey how to dunk, because that would be pretty cool. All right, maybe a slam dunk for a white Christmas. I don't know. At this point, I think it's pretty darn close for a lot of us here. We're going to get into the details in just a second, but let's go through your headlines here. We do have some snow that is knocking on our doorstep, so Christmas Eve feeling a little more festive. I've got your Christmas Day forecast coming up in just a minute, and then, we actually have a warm up coming up for the weekend as well. So if you are so sick of the winter weather, if this is not your season, there's a little something for everybody in this forecast. I'm not saying it's going to be 70, but it's going to be warmer than it's been. On that note, it already is warmer than it's been. I mean, we woke up yesterday in the single digits in the teens. We're waking up this morning in the 20s, and a few spots been hovering right around 30 degrees. For example, it's 31 in Newport right now. You can see Block Island at 36 degrees, 30 in New Bedford, 27 in Taunton, and 26 in both Providence and Smithfield. I'm not calling it cozy. I'm just saying it's warmer than yesterday. Now, those temperatures do come into play when it comes to our next storm, which is right on our doorstep. You can already see the snow showers starting to move into parts of the South Shore, even the North Shore at this point, starting to see a couple of flakes. The Berkshires have been getting some snow out to the Adirondacks as well. Even the Green and White Mountains getting a nice thump of snow this morning. Skiers and snowboarders with holiday plans are going to love the conditions as we head through this week. But what about for us in the rest of the morning as the snow gets to Rhode Island, gets to the South Coast, gets to the South Shore a little bit more than it already has? Well, here you go. On Futurecast, you can see 8:30, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. We're seeing some of those flakes come down. This storm's not going to bring us any record-setting snowfall. It's not going to light your world on fire. However, it is going to make the roads slick and slippery. I don't expect the snow necessarily to stick to the roads, but I do expect it to melt and make things a little bit wet and uncomfortable on the roads. And considering it is Christmas Eve and traffic's already not exactly the best, just make sure you're taking it easy out there. As we go through the morning, we continue to see those snow showers for the most part in the northern half of Rhode Island and northern Bristol County, as you can see. As we get back down to parts of the Cape and the islands, even parts of Plymouth County and southern Bristol County, it's going to be a little bit too warm. There's also a little too much moisture or a little too saturated to really end up with snowfall. I think you're going to get more of that mushy, wet mix on the tail end of this system, even if you start with a couple of flakes. But the system's gone by the time we hit noon. So as you're eating your lunch, you're not really looking at snow falling anymore at this point. We actually get a little bit of sunshine before the day's over. Now, we'll talk about that in a second, but let me show you the numbers here. I'm expecting a coating for most of Rhode Island and again into northern Bristol County, northern Plymouth County too, if that's where you're heading, and back through Connecticut and parts of really the southern tier of Massachusetts overall. If you want the bigger numbers, go to the higher elevations, 1 to 2 in the Berkshires and into parts of the Worcester Hills as well. Here's the general view of today, 36 degrees later this afternoon. And again, the sun comes back out before it sets. But what happens after sunset? We got to talk about tonight's forecast because the big man's coming to town. For Santa Claus, I think things are looking pretty good here. We're in the teens, but he's got that big suit. I think he'll be plenty cozy enough. Plus, he's running around delivering presents. It's a lot of work. Now, we are going to be mostly clear and the wind's going to be relatively calm, so I'd say good news overall. Now, as for a white Christmas, we've been talking about this for weeks. Just a reminder here, that definition is really specific. You need at least 1 inch of snow on the ground at 7 a.m. local time on Christmas Day. Will we have that? I think a lot of us will. Not everybody, but I do think especially the northern tier of Rhode Island and northern Bristol County where we're seeing that extra snow today, plus temperatures below freezing overnight and mainly around freezing tomorrow. I think it gives us that chance on Christmas to have a white Christmas. Now, after Christmas Day, again, we warm up into the weekend. Temperatures in the 40s Saturday, Sunday with a little bit more sunshine, especially on Saturday.